Good evening, everyone. Vanakkam. Welcome to our celebration of Tamil Heritage Month in Canada, hosted by the Federal Liberal Caucus. Tonight, we'll be joined by our host, the Federal Liberal Caucus, Gary Anandasangaree, Member of Parliament for Scarborough, Rouge Park, and so many frontline workers and talented individuals from the Tamil Canadian community. My name is Radhin Simon Pillay. I am the culture editor of Now Magazine and film critic for CTV's Your Morning, and I will be your host for this evening. Sorry, not host, MC for this evening, the host of the Federal Liberal Caucus. I want to take care of that. And before we begin, let's take a moment to acknowledge the land we are meeting on. I'm streaming from Toronto, the territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. Toronto is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississauga of the Credit. So that land acknowledgement that I just read, we have to remember that is just purely a symbolic gesture. But we as Tamil Canadians, we can't leave it at that. It falls on us to back it up with the social and political commitment that I often see us bring on so many other fronts. Many of us do know what it means to have our homes taken away from us. That trauma informs our identity as Tamil Canadians. So we have to remember that we owe an allyship to the people in this country who make room for us to celebrate Tamil Heritage Month here in Canada. We have to make that make sense. I was actually one of the first critics of Tamil Heritage Month. When it was first announced, I was like, wait a second. We are a population of 200,000 people. That's 0.5% of the Canadian population. So it didn't really make sense to me that we take up so much real estate on the calendar. But then recent events made me understand and appreciate it better. We're here in Canada celebrating Tamil Heritage Month. Meanwhile, for those of us from Sri Lanka, we have memorials to our lost peoples being raised. We have our history being wiped out. So we are grateful to Canada for giving our heritage, our culture, and our identity a home here. That's what Tamil Heritage Month means to me. And we're going to hear from so many other people about what Tamil Heritage Month means to them. So to begin our celebration, allow me to introduce Mara Tiara, who will perform the national anthem, and Vaishnavi Sriranjan, who will sing the Tamil Thai Valtu. Vaishnavi is a fourth year UTSC student, by the way, UTSC. She's been learning classical Indian vocal and violin music for over a dozen years. Mara is a drama student in her graduating year at the National Theatre School of Canada. Her grandparents are Solomon and Rosalind Rajanayagam, who were among the first Tamils to arrive in Canada in the 1950s. So, hey Mara, take it away.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command, car ton bras sait porter l'épée, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
வாழ்க நீரந்தரம் வாழ்க தமிழ் மொழி வாரிய வாரியவே வானமருந்த அழைத்து மறந்திடும் வன்மொழி வாரியவே கடல் வைப்பிரும் தன்மனம் வீசி இசை கொண்ட வாடியவே எங்கள் தமிழ் மொழி என்றென்றும் வாரியவே சூழ்கரி நீங்க துள்ளிவினை தரு தொல்கையகன்று சுடர்க தமிழ்நாடே வாழ்க தமிழ் மொழி வாழ்க தமிழ் மொழி வாரிய வாரியவே வானமனந்த அனைத்து மறந்திடும் வன்மொழி வாரியவே வளர் மொழி வாரியவே தமிழ் மொழி வாரியவே.
Now this year, yeah. So we are doing it virtually. See, this is what it means to do Tamil Heritage Month virtually. I can't keep up with all the tech. We're in the throes of a pandemic, and that's why we're doing it virtually. And that's why the celebration this year is dedicated to frontline workers from the Tamil community. And typically at this point, we take a moment to recognize those we have lost to conflicts back home. This year, we're going to add those who we lost to COVID-19. So let's please take a moment to have a moment of silence to remember them all. Thank you, everyone. And now I'd like to introduce you to a welcoming dance performance from the Irudaya Dance Company. They are a non-profit dance company teaching students the classical dance form of Bharatanatyam while also fundraising for social and economic issues here in Sri Lanka and here. They will be performing, let me just, the song Tamazi by Hip Hop Tamiza, and they're going to kill it. Can we throw it to them? Now to move on now, I said before that this celebration is in honor and tribute of the frontline workers, many of whom are from the Tamil community. I'm sure many of you noticed when this pandemic first began and the news media and everyone started interviewing frontline workers and trying to get a hold of what was happening, you noticed that a lot of the doctors and the nurses and the internists that were being interviewed, you know, your Tamil radar went up, to quote Maitri Ramakrishnan. You're like, oh, there's 27 letter names. That person must be a Tamil person. And it doesn't just end with the people in the medical field. Like the Tamil community, we represent on the front line when it comes to public service, when it comes to our restaurant kitchens, when it comes to your food delivery apps. You know, the Tamil community, they're bringing it on the front lines. Now, the flip side to that is that we're also overrepresented when it comes to people, to catching COVID-19, we're overrepresented in terms of hospitalizations. So this upcoming video by the Federal Liberal Caucus, it is for the Tamil community, it is for the frontline workers for the Tamil community, it is to recognize your sacrifice. So let's throw it to that.
Vanakkam.
Happy Tamil Heritage Month.
Joyeux mois du patrimoine tamil.
இனிய தைப்பொங்கல் நல்வாழ்த்துக்கள்.
A very happy Pongal.
Happy Thai Pongal.
Since 2016, Tamil Canadians from across this country
have celebrated January as Tamil Heritage Month in Canada.
It's time for us to reflect back on the history of the Tamil community, celebrate the rich heritage and culture.
Canada is the proud home to one of the world's largest Tamil diasporas.
And we recognize the immense contributions of the Tamil Canadian community to our beautiful country.
We especially recognize the Tamil Canadians who have stepped up in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Nurses, doctors, teachers, truck drivers,
business owners, grocery workers, custodians,
and all Tamil Canadian essential and frontline workers.
When most Canadians had to take a step back, you took a step forward.
You serve our communities, protect our loved ones, and keep us all safe and healthy.
We thank you all.
While Tamil Heritage Month celebrations may be different this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic,
we are delighted to have you join us today in celebrating Tamil Heritage Month virtually.
On behalf of the Federal Liberal Caucus,
I wish everyone celebrating a safe and joyous Thai Pongal.
And we wish you all a happy Tamil Heritage Month.
Happy Tamil Heritage Month and happy Thai Pongal.
Happy Tamil Heritage Month, Canada.
Happy Tamil Heritage Month.
Nandri.
Vanakkam. Thank you.
Thank you to the members of the Federal Liberal Caucus and our members of Parliament for that video and your commitment to the Tamil Canadian community. And now it is my pleasure to introduce a tireless advocate for both Scarborough and the Tamil Canadian community. He is our host for this evening. This is a member of Parliament Gary Anandasangaree, who is also graciously giving us his Facebook page. We're all kind of hosted and camping out on your Facebook page. So thank you so much, Gary, for allowing us to be here. Make sure you all give him 1,000 likes for being on this page. Gary, over to you.
Elorukkam Malay Vanakangal. Good evening, everyone. And I'm absolutely delighted to be joining you today from the traditional lands of many Indigenous peoples, and most recently of the Mississaugas of the New Credit. On behalf of the Federal Liberal Caucus, I'm delighted to welcome you to our virtual Tamil Heritage Month celebrations, along with Minister Anita Anand and the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. I would like to acknowledge His Worship, John Tory, Mayor of the City of Toronto, and an incredible champion for the Tamil community, as well as my local councillor, Jennifer McKelvey, from Scarborough Rouge Park. So thank you both for being here. I'm delighted to co-host this event with members of the Federal Liberal Caucus, the Honourable Anita Anand, Honourable Bill Blair, Honourable Marco Mendocino, Honourable Ahmed Hussain, Honourable Bardish Chagger, Honourable Mary Ng, Sean Chen, Peter Fonseca, the Honourable Mark Holland, Marcy Ian, Dr. Helena Jasak, Ikra Khalid, Kamal Kira, Faisal Al-Khoury, Annie Koutrakis, Honourable John McKay, Jennifer O'Connell, Ruby Sahota, Judy Scrow, Meninder Sidhu, Sonia Sidhu, Francesco Sorbera, Jean Yip, Salma Zahid, Julie Zerowitz, and my dear friend, the Honourable Navdeep Bains. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible work of Navdeep over the years and his championship of the Tamil community so far in his years in politics. He's opened many doors for all of us, and I want to acknowledge his enormous contribution to our country, but also especially to the Tamil community on this important milestone in his early retirement from politics. These last 10 months have been very difficult for all of us. We've lost many Canadians, including many members from the Tamil community, to the COVID-19 pandemic. Many of us have lost friends and family due to the pandemic. And even as I speak, I'm thinking about my dear friend who is currently in hospital fighting the pandemic. Our thoughts are with him and all of our loved ones and friends who are struggling with COVID-19. We also know that there are many more struggling to cope with isolation and depression, and those in long-term care homes, and those who are physically distant from many other people in their lives. But during these tragedies, we've seen many rays of light that have kept us safe. That is why we're honoring the many frontline and essential workers from within our community who have stepped up to support all of us today. We honor you. We honor your families for your enormous sacrifice, valor, and dedication. You make the entire Tamil Canadian community proud of your service to your country. Whether you're in restaurants around the GTA, Montreal, or Timmins, cooking us food, or the hospitals in Scarborough, Markham, Winnipeg, or Montreal, or trucking food from California to Florida, or doing COVID-19 testing in labs or manufacturing supplies to keep our supply chain going, or working at the local Tim Hortons so that we can get a hot cup of coffee on a cold day. We're teaching our kids, and there are many, many teachers here. All of your efforts have helped us be safe. Often, you have risked your own safety and security for that of ours and our families. For that, I thank you. Tamil Heritage Month has always been about the people. the language, the culture, and heritage. This year, we celebrate you, the people who are making such a profound difference in our world. Yesterday was an historic day for many reasons, and I know especially for the Tamil community around the world and in Canada. We celebrated Vice President Kamala Devi Harris, the first racialized Black and Tamil woman to reach the highest of offices in the United States. We are overjoyed and inspired by her inauguration yesterday. In Canada, we're incredibly proud of Minister Anita, Anand, who leads our government in procuring vaccines for Canadians and is working around the clock to vaccinate all Canadians. And she is proud of her Tamil heritage. We celebrate the incredible achievements of many Tamil women and their inspiring stories and achievements today. As we celebrate, let us also reflect on the enormous responsibility we have to be a voice of justice and accountability and peace. At the University of Jaffna, we've seen the desecration of the Mullawaikal genocide memorial 2 weeks ago. There's a pattern of ongoing violence against the Tamil people that is meant to erase our places of remembrance and our heritage and our identity as a people, our place on the island. Our memory is etched in our hearts and souls, and we will never deter from seeking truth, justice, accountability, and peace. I reiterate Prime Minister Trudeau's commitment to seeking accountability through international forums and Canada's continued commitment and leadership to these efforts. Thai Pirandal Valipurakam. இந்த தை மாதம் நாங்கள் பல கொண்டாட்டங்கள் நாங்கள் பார்க்கக்கூடியதாக இருக்குது. முதலாவதாக முழு பேருக்கும் இனிய தைப்பொங்கல் வாழ்த்துக்கள். அதே நேரத்தில் நேற்று எங்களுக்கு அமெரிக்காவில் நாங்கள் கமலா ஹாரிஸின் இனாகுரேஷன் நாங்கள் பார்க்கக்கூடிய சந்தர்ப்பம் கிடைச்சது. இது நான் நினைக்கிறேன் தமிழ் மக்கள், புலம்பெயர்ந்த தமிழ் மக்கள் முழு பேருக்கும் தமிழ் உலகத்துக்கே ஒரு மிக ஒரு பெருமையாக நாங்கள் பார்க்கலாம். ஆனால் எங்களுக்கு தெரியும், நாங்கள் புலம்பெயர்ந்த மக்களுக்கு தனக்கென பொறுப்புகள் இருக்குது. அந்த பொறுப்புகளை நாங்கள் முழு பேரும் ஒன்றாக சேர்ந்து நாங்கள் கொண்டு நடத்துவோம் என்று நான் நம்புகிறேன். இலங்கையில் பார்த்தோம்னால் எங்கள் தமிழ் அரசியல் பகுதியில் ஓரளவுக்கு ஒன்று சேர்ந்து ஒரு குரலாக பேசக்கூடிய ஒரு சந்தர்ப்பம் நாங்கள் பார்க்கக்கூடியதாக இருக்குது. அதே குரலுக்கு நாங்களும் புலம்பெயர்ந்த மக்களாக அந்த குரல் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு நாங்கள் கடமைப்பட்டிருக்கிறோம். அந்த குரல் நாங்கள் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு தயாராக இருக்கிறோம் கனடாவில். So as this January sets, we see a dawn of a new era unfold in front of us. We see emerging new leadership in our world. We see vaccines on the way, and we see the resilience and resolve of this Tamil community. We must, however, continue to follow all public health guidelines and be safe and get through the other side of the pandemic. Our greatest act of gratitude will be to make sure that all our frontline workers and essential workers remain safe as they serve us during this time. My friends, I look forward to continue to celebrate Tamil Canadian community with you in the years to come, and hopefully in person. In the meantime, please join us in celebrating the Tamil frontline and essential workers from across Canada. Alorukum, Nandri, thank you, and over to you, Radian.
Thank you very much, Gary Anna. Let's show that video.
Happy Tamil Heritage Month and Thai Pongal to everyone here today.
Vanakkam, on behalf of Peel Regional Police here in Ontario, I want to wish you all a happy Thai Pongal.
Vanakkam. Ellorukkum enadu Iniya Thai Pongal Valthukal. Please stay safe and continue to follow public health guidelines.
As we continue to celebrate Pongal and Tamil Heritage Month in January, I would like to remind everyone to please follow current lockdown policies. So please do your part and stay at home.
Once again, thank you to our frontline workers for everything you do and for representing us so well and making us so proud. And now I would like to invite Gary, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, federal MPs, and everyone at home to join us in lighting the Kutubulagu. If you're at home and you don't have one, you could also use a candle. Please also observe safety rules. Thank you everyone for participating in that. I'm just gonna put that away. It's a beautiful picture for the gram. And now I'm excited to invite the Honorable Anita Anand, Member of Parliament from Oakville, to say a few words. Anita Anand is the Minister of Public Services and Procurement, aka she's the person who's been getting us those COVID-19 vaccines. Hello, Anita.
Hello. Vanakkam.
Vanakkam.
Nice to see you and nice to see everyone here. It is such an honor to be here today with all of you who are truly making a difference across our country in so many diverse communities. From the front lines in the healthcare sector, to the teaching sector, to other essential services such as transportation. All of you here tonight are to be honored and really shown our utmost respect to you. You're the reason we're able to get through this pandemic, and I'm especially so honored to be able to participate in this celebration of Tamil heritage. I wanted to thank you first and foremost for the work you're doing. And I also wanted to say that as someone with strong Tamil roots, tracing back to Chennai, where my father's relatives all came from and indeed still live, it is a great honor to be here with my colleagues from the Liberal Caucus and Gary Anandasangaree, who's been such a tremendous influence and friend over the past years. I also wanted just to mention that it's true, we're not able to come together as we normally would. But one of the most beautiful things I find about celebrating virtually is that we have these moments to hear from so many members of our community, to see videos and to share these important moments of appreciation for Tamil Heritage Month. I am responsible for leading the file on vaccine procurement. And I just wanted to say that we have seen close to a million vaccines delivered across this country. And I also wanted to say that we have millions and millions and millions of more vaccines on the way. We will have enough vaccines in this country to vaccinate all Canadians who wish to be vaccinated by the end of September 2021, if not sooner. Our vaccine procurements are strong, they're with multiple suppliers, and we are very confident in the strategy of diversity of vaccines that we have pursued. And the goal, of course, of our government is to be here for you as Canadians, just as you, as Tamil Canadians, have been here for our country. And that is what we are all so grateful for this evening, and indeed celebrating your service to Canada. It is now my distinct honor to introduce our next speaker, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, Canada's 23rd Prime Minister and the Member of Parliament who proudly represents his constituency of Papineau. I, in particular, am so grateful for his presence here this evening and his ongoing commitment to diversity and inclusion, which are at the very heart of everything we all do every day in this country. Thank you so much. Happy Thai Pongal and Nandri to everyone.
Vanakkam, Inya Pongal Vatukal. Merci Anita pour cette introduction et bonsoir à tous. J'aimerais d'abord commencer par remercier Gary et la ministre Anand pour tout le travail qu'ils font pour protéger les Canadiens. Merci à tous ceux et celles qui se joignent à nous, particulièrement le maire Tory. John, it is so great to join you for this event and see you. And I'm glad to take this opportunity to thank you for all the leadership you've shown this past difficult year. Although I have to say, I do miss running into each other at events every couple of weeks like we used to, and I know we both look forward to doing that again. Now, the last time I joined folks to celebrate Thai Pongal, it was in Markham with many of you. And I remember, as I'm sure you do too, the energy in that room. It was clear then, as it is tonight, that diversity is Canada's strength. Of course, our Thai Pongal celebration is a little different this year. But even if we can't be together in person, we're still able to honor the values at the heart of this special day. Values like peace and the importance of community. As we mark the end of the harvest season, we have a chance to recognize the outstanding contributions of Tamil Canadians to our country and our communities. After all, January is Tamil Heritage Month, and Gary, we have you to thank for that. Tamil Canadians have made our country stronger and our neighborhoods more vibrant. And through this really tough pandemic, this community has once again stepped up to the plate. Tonight, I want to give a big shout out to the many Tamil Canadians who are working day in and day out to keep us safe, as we saw in that wonderful video. To the frontline and essential workers on the call tonight, and to everyone else who can't join us because they're on the job as we speak, we're getting through this pandemic because of you. Thank you. You are our everyday heroes. I know things are really challenging right now. This virus is changing everyone's lives, but it's hitting some neighborhoods and communities especially hard. Maybe you're worried about getting the virus on the job, especially if you don't have paid sick leave. Every time you walk out the door to go to work, know that your government has your back. If you're sick or need to self-isolate because of COVID-19, we've set up the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit. We will be there for you, whatever it takes, as long as this crisis lasts. My friends, in tough times like these, we need to support each other. I know this community gets that. Look no further than the countless examples of people stepping up by donating vital PPE to frontline workers or delivering groceries to seniors. You are showing us the way forward. You are giving us hope for the better days that are still to come. Speaking of hope, I'm sure many of you have been celebrating as history was made when Vice President Kamala Harris was sworn into office just yesterday. I know her chitties are proud of everything she's accomplished. To the young girls who dream of serving their communities, to the young Tamil women who fight to make the world a better place, Vice President Harris is an inspiration and a reminder that everyone's voice belongs in politics and that we are so much stronger together. In the world we face, that has never been more important. This year, we have a lot of work ahead of us, but friends, there's reason for hope. We'll beat COVID-19, we'll rebuild, and we'll lay the foundations for a better world. To do that, we must reflect on and honor the past. For this community, that includes remembering those who were lost during the armed conflict in Sri Lanka. I know the destruction of the Mulivaikul Memorial at the University of Jaffna hit hard for many Tamil Canadians. We've heard that the monument will be rebuilt. That's encouraging news because peace in Sri Lanka cannot be achieved without accountability. Canada remains committed to seeking reconciliation and accountability in Sri Lanka. We will continue to work with our partners in the core group of the UN Human Rights Council to help achieve lasting peace and stability. Mes chers amis, une nouvelle année remplie de nombreux défis nous attend. Ce ne sera pas toujours facile, mais il y a de l'espoir à l'horizon. Les vaccins sont arrivés et d'ici septembre, on aura assez de doses pour vacciner tous les Canadiens qui voudront se faire vacciner. D'ici là, on doit tenir le coup et continuer de travailler ensemble pour se protéger les uns les autres. Chaque effort compte. Alors, restez chez vous, lavez-vous les mains et portez un masque. Gardez 2 mètres de distance, téléchargez l'application gratuite Alerte COVID. Vaccines are here, and by September, we'll have enough doses for every Canadian who wants it. Until then, let's keep each other safe by staying at home, washing our hands, wearing a mask, and downloading the COVID Alert app. Together, we will get through this. Merci. Nandri Vanakam. And now, back to you, Rad.
Thank you, Prime Minister Trudeau, for being here tonight. And of course, I think I speak for the Tamil Canadian community when I say we are all very grateful for leaders like you, yourself, and Minister Anand for putting lives ahead of everything else in this fight against COVID-19. So thank you so much for that.
That's very kind, Rod. Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for being part of this.
Also, I'm a very big fan of speaking moistly.
No. The whole
Heritage
point,
Minute.
Don't do that.
That's going to be our next Heritage Minute. Okay, but now on that front, I want to turn it over to another JT, to another leader of ours that we can count on, Toronto's Mayor John Tory, who I usually see at movie events like XOTO and the South by Southwest Film Festival, but there won't be any South by this year, right, Mr. Tory, Mayor Tory? Oh, your mic's off. You got to unmute.
Yeah, you got to be an optimist about these things, right? So I'm hoping that everything's going to happen in 2021 if we can just do all the things the Prime Minister just said. Keep the mask on, keep the distance, stay home, and then we can have all kinds of events. So, Rod and Prime Minister, members of the caucus, and ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to say thank you to the Prime Minister for his kind words. And, you know, it has been one of the happiest experiences of my time as mayor to be able to work with a government that really gets cities and a Prime Minister who gets cities. And I think that's been very important to the partnership that we've established. And I know I speak on behalf of my colleague, Jennifer McKelvey, the councillor who's here tonight, in saying that, Gary, thank you for organizing this event. Thank you to the caucus for hosting it and for inviting me to be part of it. And thank you for your good partnership with Toronto. Thai Pongal, maybe the message of Thai Pongal, the Thanksgiving, the celebration of the harvest, which seems, a little off the calendar when we sit here, but of course in parts of Asia, it's exactly the time of year that it is. But maybe that's a very important message for us right at this moment in time, especially the moment of Thanksgiving, the moment of caring for the earth, the moment of thanks for the earth that feeds us, and the message of peace that goes with that. I think that's very important. And of course, Tamil Heritage Month is equally important for all the reasons the Prime Minister set out. I've learned a lot over the years as I've gotten to know the Tamil community better and better and made so many friends, including some on this virtual event tonight. And I've learned about the language and, something I didn't know before I was mayor, that the language is one of the classic languages of the world. And it is one that is honored and respected around the world. It's about the culture. It's about the history, and the history has some very bad, very tragic parts to it that have been referred to tonight. I was at Alibakal to see the site of that terrible atrocity that took place there. I met the moms whose kids went missing and have never been found, and it really, for me, firmed up beyond anything that I could possibly describe to you my commitment, my solidarity in the fight for justice for the Tamil people, which is something that has still not been achieved. And of course, that was really heightened by the fact that the memorial at the Jaffna University was desecrated just recently. And I'm glad that so many of us spoke up about that and just said that kind of thing was evidence of the fact that we had nowhere near gotten to the point we have to get to. I want to just join everybody else here tonight in celebrating the frontline workers that are really the object of our affections and our respect in particular tonight, and especially those that have come from the Tamil community. It is no surprise to me that Tamils in Toronto and in the region and across the country are hard at work in the service of others. This is a community that sets an example, that is a role model every single day. I often mention that it's a role model in many respects, but none more so to me than as parents. These are the best parents in the world that I've ever seen in terms of the caring and the diligence and the thoughtfulness and everything else that they apply to raising good kids. And you know what? It's showing. When you last night, I think it was, the night before, I was at the top Tamil under 30 in Toronto, and just looking at the accomplishments and the diligence and the determination of those young people, they're going to be world beaters. Many of them already are, and they're going to be in positions of responsibility throughout every aspect of our country before too long. But the frontline workers, they have had a tough year. We all have, but I think they in particular have shown such courage and had no choice but to go to work. There was no option to work from home for them, and they had to go to work often in circumstances that were dangerous to their health. And so I say thank you to them. I join all of you in saying thank you to them. I speak on behalf, I know, of my council colleague Jennifer McKelvey, who is here. And I wish all of you who are present with us tonight from around the country the very, very best for Thai Pongal. The greatest of respect and affection for Tamil Heritage Month. This is an important history and heritages for us all to know. The good parts, many, many, many good parts, and the tragic parts. Those are important to know as well, so we never forget. So I'll say Thai Pongal Valtakal, and thank you very much for this opportunity to participate, and thank you to the federal MPs for Toronto, who I find such good partners and who I work so well with, and that I hope we can continue to build up what I believe to be the greatest city and the greatest country in the world. And there'll be a few on here who will disagree with that, but they'll just have to get over it. Thank you very much, Strat.
Thank you so much for that, Mayor Tory, and hopefully we'll see you outside soon. And now, as we arrive at the end of this evening, I want to invite Priyanka Akilan to bring this ceremony home with our closing performance. Priyanka is a classically trained singer in Toronto who has been learning classical dramatic music for the last 18 years, and she's bringing that talent to TikTok. You should check that out. And I mean, this is a great way to bring this home because, nothing says Tamil Canadian than this mashup of classical art forms and TikTok. So take it away, Priyanka.
Hi there, my name is Priyanka Akilan, and I'm really proud to be part of the Canadian Tamil community. Happy Thai Pongal to everyone, and a huge thank you goes to the Canadian Tamil frontline workers who are out there risking their lives for us during this difficult time. Another thank you to the Federal Liberal Caucus for giving me this opportunity to celebrate Tamil Heritage Month with all of you today. With that being said, I prepared a little mashup. It's based in classical music, but there's a couple songs that some of you might recognize. Hopefully you enjoy.
Sorry.
Okay, so A, she killed that. B, I could see people applauding in my windows. I don't know if everyone else can, and I still don't have a good applause button. So there's that. Let's show it all to the people. And see, it's time to say goodnight. Thank you all for joining us for this celebration of Tamil Heritage Month. And thank you to the frontline workers once again who continue to represent us and to get us through all of this. I want to take a moment to thank Supendra Chandrakumar for producing the videos this evening. And if you guys, we went from a TikTok star, we're thanking an Instagram star. You should check out Supendra's Instagram account for all his 6-star shout outs. I also want to take a moment to thank members of the Tamil media, many who have been sharing our event live and have been doing a crucial role in informing the Tamil Canadian community about COVID-19 during this pandemic. Thank you to all the wonderful performers, and thank you to the Federal Liberal Caucus MPs for once again hosting and taking part in the celebration of Tamil Heritage Month. Thank you to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for being here. Hello, thank you, Minister Anita Anand and MP Gary Anandasangaree for once again spearheading this event, spearheading this month, leading it and leading us, and giving us your Facebook page. Once again, give them all the reactions, 1,000 likes for Gary Anandasangaree. Happy Tamil Heritage Month, everyone. Good night. Nandri Vanakkam.